Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this video is going to be an unboxing of some great movies I've got from Imprint slash Via Vision. As I mentioned before, you get loads of updates as to where this is in the world when it gets sent off from Australia, and when it gets into the UK, you get the phone pings all the time to tell you where this thing is. So let's get into this. Nurse Scalpel, thank you very much. As you know, John Hall is a huge fan of getting stuff from Australia, and I'll leave a link to the video when he brought some loads of stuff, some Australian stuff to me, which was a great video and some amazing stuff to receive. And some of the stuff you get, some of the titles you get from there are amazing, and they're just not available in the UK. So do check them out, especially Imprint. Now, I will leave a link to Imprint's Instagram down below because they are putting out some really amazing stuff. Their latest announcement that they had for stuff coming up, and I think it's in August, is unbelievable. It's got tons of packaging in here, as always. There's a huge amount of stuff here. So first up is Black Moon. This movie stars Jack Holt, but also Fay Wray of King Kong fame. Now, when I saw this cover, I got King Kong vibes from it. And this movie's from 1934. I'm a big fan of, I know this isn't universal horror, but movies from the 30s and 40s are just, I don't know, there's something about them. I just like the whole thing of them. I think it's because they were shown all the time on UK TV, on the weekends when you got all your horror double bills, you'll get like some of this stuff as well. So this is, this always has my attention. Obviously, it's got a slip. These amazing things from Imprint always have these slip cases, shall I say, not slip covers. But I'll open these up downstairs, and you'll get a proper idea of what these are like. These age ratings do come off; they're kind of stick on. So yeah, so that's first up. That's Black Moon. Look at that. I'll tell you what, the spines on here are really good. That's a lovely spine there. They look great in the shelves. So next up is Woman Who Came Back. Now this has got a great synopsis. Listen to this one. A woman believes she's bewitched and goes to her ancestral home. The villagers soon begin to think that she too is victim to the spell cast on her family for centuries. Look at that picture there. I love them covers. They're like the original artwork that you get from these movies way back in time. I think that's just such a throwback. Obviously, you've got special features on there, which you'll see more when I unbox these properly. But yeah, amazing package that. That's The Woman Who Came Back. Next up is Catacombs from 1965. Look at that cover there. That's amazing, isn't it? Now, the synopsis on this is equally as interesting. The woman who wouldn't die. An astute businesswoman is completely devoted to a faithless husband who must kill her to carry on with her pretty young niece. It turns out that the dead don't die so easily. British Lion films, remember them? So that's Catacombs. Next up is the one that I remember watching at a really young age on TV. And actually, for some reason, it really freaked us out. I don't know why. I just remember a couple of scenes and I remember thinking that was really spooky. I don't know if it is like nowadays, but to me, from then, and I haven't seen it since then, and I want to revisit it. So I thought I'm going to definitely check it out. And it is The Man Who Haunted Himself, Roger Moore. I remember being a big fan, obviously, of Roger Moore when he was doing James Bond. And it was kind of strange to see him in anything else. I wasn't expecting, when you're young, you don't think that actors, when you know them for a role, you don't think they do anything else, but they do. And when you see Roger Moore in this one acting, for me at that time, acting really out of character, it was quite jarring. But like I say, this movie did really freak me out. A few of them did, like for whatever reason, and can't remember why it did. I just remember I just didn't, not say I didn't like it, I didn't feel easy with it, if that's a thing. So yeah, I do remember that scene. Roger Moore in this movie. A lot of people say Roger Moore, Michael.
Where's me ladders?
Roger Moore couldn't act, but I tell you what, he's fantastic in this movie. He really is. So that's The Man Who Haunted Himself. And last up is, get a load of this, The Uninvited and the Unseen. Look at this thing. Now, I've seen a couple of times people unboxing stuff from Imprint when they've got this sort of really good box set, and I think they look amazing. And I'm just so glad that I now own one of these things. They will look incredible on the shelves. So The Uninvited is from 1944 and The Unseen is from 1945. They call them the haunted shores, these stretches of Devonshire and Cornwall and Ireland which rear up against the westward ocean. Mists gather here and sea fog and eerie stories. Lewis Allen's acclaimed horror mysteries are brought together in this limited edition 2-disc collection. So what I'll do is I'll go downstairs, I will get these opened on camera overhead, and you can take a good look at these and get a flavour of what these ones are all about. Can't wait to get into them. So see you downstairs. Okay, so let's take a closer look through these movies. I've opened the shrink wrap there. I'll come back after this and I'll tell you all about what I think of the picture quality as well. So I was going to put the protective covers on that I got from my good friend Dave Ramsden on these, but unfortunately they didn't quite fit on. I think with these slip cases, they're just a bit tight. I could actually get the movies in, but I couldn't get them out again very easily, so I thought, right, I'll not do that again. I'll just leave the shrink wrap on these ones to protect them for now anyway. I just love this great early artwork here in the 30s and 40s. I think there's something about it. These films I've got here, you class in the ghost story genre. That's quite ominous, isn't it? Yeah, nice. So that's Black Moon. Next is Woman Who Came Back. Great picture, that. I like the fact that Imprint are making these relatively obscure movies available and keeping them alive with these fantastic presentations. So that's The Woman Who Came Back. Next is Catacombs. Striking slip, this. This seems like a really good one. I'll be watching this soon. Very interesting. The story of a girl who twice returned from the grave. That's Catacombs. Next is The Man Who Haunted Himself. This is packed with extra stuff. This has got a lovely booklet in it. And this booklet is more to do with promotional stuff that was released. Great, actually. You wouldn't think there was that much stuff, would you? It's great they've got all this stuff together. So that's The Man Who Haunted Himself. And last but by no means least is this beautiful box set here. Now I've got the shrink wrap on, I've still managed to keep it on. That was hard to cut round, I'll tell you that much. And in here you have the two discs. The Uninvited. Ray Milland. He seemed to be in loads of movies when I used to watch them on TV when I was younger. So the common theme of these movies is like a ghost story or a ghost tale. Or are they? Hint, hint. And lastly is The Unseen. I love these box sets. So that's the box set of The Uninvited and The Unseen. So I've checked out the quality of these films. I'll show you screenshots of each one. First up is Black Moon. This is a very interesting story. It seems to be that this is 1934. And don't forget, King Kong was 1933. So this is really, Fay Ray was at the height of her powers. And this does have flavours of King Kong, sort of like the voodoo ritual that she gets involved in part of this movie. I haven't watched it yet, but the bits I saw look really good. Now this has got a lovely black and white print, but it's got a level of grain, not too much, but I think you need the grain to get the sharpness, of course you do. But really interesting watching. I mean, these are really easy watches. They're only 68 minutes long, so you can get through them very easily, but lovely presentation. So that's Black Moon. Next up is the one I watched, is Woman Who Came Back. Now, the quality on this is a lovely print on here, 1945, and it's got some really sharp. Is it a 4K print? Yes, a 4K restoration. Now, not all of it looks 4K quality. I do consider some of it to be a bit blurred. Not much of it, but it's not. Obviously, in those days, they weren't really looking on so much on film composition. But I've got to say, this movie looks really spectacular. And when I watched it, I was really invested in it. It's only 68 minutes long. And it tells a story of this woman who meets somebody who's a witch. And this witch who's got a dog with her, she has this power to sort of transfer between animals and stuff because this woman finds out later on. And she thinks she's getting possessed by this witch woman. I tell you what, all of this in 68 minutes and a lot more is quite a phenomenal feat, actually. Honestly, I really enjoyed this movie and I watched all the extras as well. There's a fella on here who's talking a bit like when you get the Hammer movies and they talk about the music. Now, when he's talking about the music, he talks about the devil. I knew he's going to go for the Devil's Notes, and he's talking about how they made the soundtrack for this and they use the Devil's Chord or the Devil's Note. So he talks about that. I hear that all the time. Obviously, in the latest Doctor Who series, there's talking about the Devil's Chord. But it's a thing, it's a proper thing. You hear it all the time when you're talking about when you're watching music videos. But the picture quality on here for me was really good. And I'll tell you what, this was a really good film. Much better. I thought it was going to be good. That's why I picked it first. But it's much better than I thought it was going to be. And it's a really good ghost story. I think these are all going to be sort of really quick ghost stories, which I'm all about, actually. I don't think you can beat anything from a 1930s and 40s true ghost story. So that's Woman Who Came Back. Next up is Catacombs. Now this is moving a bit later, 1965. I put this on. This is absolutely pin sharp, this print on here. And it seems a really interesting premise, so I can't wait to watch this one as well. This is a bit long, about an hour and a half. But you put it on and you're sometimes you're astounded by what a black and white movie can give you. I always think that black and white 4Ks look absolutely, spectacular, and this is a 4K restoration as well. And yeah, it looks absolutely really interesting. Also, the picture quality I thought was some of the best picture qualities I've seen on black and white sort of upgrades. So that's Catacombs. Next up is The Man Who Haunted Himself. This is the only colour movie I've got in these pickups. And the picture quality in here is absolutely stunning. I thought it would be on for some reason. I mean, it's 1970. It's got every reason to look good, but some of you just don't know how these were filmed. Were they filmed really well or kind of not that well? This looks absolutely sensational. Pin sharp. It's got that 60s/70s colour palette. It's got everything going for it, and I'm really excited to get back to this and watch it and see if I am freaked out as much as I was the first time. I don't think I am, because obviously I'm much older than I was when I saw this. I might have saw this when I was really literally about 5 or 6. It has that memory to me. I don't think I've watched it since then, but I just remember being, like I said, totally freaked out. But the picture quality, like I say, is absolutely stunning. So that's The Man Who Haunted Himself. So last up is The Uninvited and The Unseen. Now, to me, that looks pretty good. I mean, not all look good, but that's got a bit of a slight look to it, to The Unseen. Now, The Unseen is coming from a different, lesser grade, but The Unseen for me looks better than The Uninvited. So it's strange how these things work out, but the both of them look really interesting. Also, they're a bit longer than the 68 minutes, but not much. So they're very easy watches. And again, they are both going around the ghost story. Is it a ghost? Is it not? Is it real? Is it not? Is it something to do with supernatural? Who knows? I just think these are just a great premise to have, especially these were the ones in the 30s and 40s and 50s. These are the ones that are starting that off because nobody else had told these type of stories before. Obviously, ghost stories have been around forever, but in the realm of cinema, they were just starting out. And I think these are some of the best examples of what I would say the ghost story. I think they do them these days, but they don't do them anywhere near like this golden age for me from the 30s to the 50s. So once again, I can't recommend these movies highly enough from Imprint. I'll leave a link to their website down below so you can go and order some if you want. So do remember, you'll get these packaged to you in the best possible manner. Don't worry about anything when you get stuff from Imprint. And that's something that in the UK seems to be a big problem, especially when you're getting it just up the road and it's coming all mashed. So thanks for watching. You take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.